Good boy. Hi. Good morning. How are you doing today? Today we have Tuckerman joining us for a moment, and he is all over it today. Let's see if we have. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. So I'm not sure if we are going to get any viewers today, but I just wanted to say good morning and welcome. What we're doing is just warming up today. Kevin, good morning. How are you today? Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Your presence. I've got a Springer in my lap today, so he's he's kind of hanging out with us a little bit this morning, getting us started. Good boy. This is Tuckerman, our black and white English Springer Spaniel. He's a Blue Ribbon Award winner. He's like an agility doggy. He likes to run around in circles. Good morning, Kevin. Doing great, and you? Yeah, better than some and worse than others. Here's the tuning fork. Here's our tuning. A440. Good morning, Marlon. I have a few exciting new things to talk about, to share with you today. So we'll get started in tuning. My reference pitch is good. Let's see if we can repurpose this, position this camera. There we go. You can hang out, Tuckerman, if you like. He's just running through the house. He's going to check to be sure everything else is taken care of. He's second in command. We'll be starting with 4 attacks per beat today, and then maybe running up to and reconnoitering 5 attacks per beat. Good morning, Anthony. How are you? I was thinking yesterday about how easily it is to take for granted the time that I have in general, right? The time that we have in general is one of those things that we can't make more of, right? Hey, Mungo, the tuxedo cat. Good morning. That's a familiar face. Just working through the tune-up process, and we're starting today with 4 attacks per beat, and we might run up and check out 5 attacks per beat, depending on the time. I have a new exercise that I wanted to share with you toward the end. We are going to remain the plan is to remain focused and dialed in on tone production. And minimizing, we want to build efficiencies while we're taking the moment to be here. We want to practice efficiencies. We want to build efficiencies into every piece of our practice routine, because yesterday we had a newcomer, a viewer that commented a lot, and and he mentioned about, you know, something about he could play, he got what, you know, the 1, 2, 3, 4 exercise up to like 4 attacks per beat, up to his limitation. He found his limitation was at 160 beats per minute, right? That's pretty quick. But then when you reach that limitation, how do you proceed beyond that limitation, right? So the limitations are, the devil is in the details, or whatever, however you say it, God is in the details. To me, like you find the important stuff in the details. And so, for example, if I'm using that 1, 2, 3, 4 exercise and I'm peeling my fingers off, and my fingers progressively get further from the string set as I remove each finger, it just takes that much more time, and it reduces the amount of accuracy that I have to get to the next string, right? So I want to try to remember that there's a bar, you know, as it's you know, it's a quarter of an inch. I want to have this imaginary bar above my fingers, so it's a stopper. I don't want to lift any of my fingers further than a quarter of an inch off the strings. And if I do, I really should be going back and practice these exercises more slowly and more securely and more mindfully. So what we're starting with today is going to be fingers 3 and 4. We're getting somewhere new today, so I want you to just kind of like, I want to be mentally prepared for that, because it's going to be a little bit of a challenge, but I know we can do it. And we're going to introduce 2-string groups. So there's a hint. There's a hint that at the end of the story to come. So fingers 3 and 4, I think we're in pretty good shape. Let's just double check that we are in fact in tune. I think that's pretty good. All right, so we'll start with fingers 3 and 4, and we're using 3rd fingers and 4th fingers on 11 and 12. And it's going to look like this. And if you're new here, welcome and thank you for joining us. We are engaged in a morning ritual warm-up, which is providing us, many of us, with some already substantial gains, you know, in the world of guitar. All right, 1 E and a 2 E and a, here we go, E and a. Wow, even tuning tone is beautiful. Yeah, thank you very much. It's one of those things where we really are asking our picking hands to do the, you know, the bulk of the work. And you can see my fingers are kind of, I'm attentive to my fingers, and I know that this is a fast pace, you know, a quote unquote fast pace for me in the morning. And I can tell because my fingers are feeling a little bit out of control. How are your fingers feeling? Are we good with the tempo? I just want to be sure that everybody's able to get what we need to get out of this. I don't want to, not that I'm shopping for loose links in the chain, but, or weak links in the chain, but if it's not working for everybody, it's not really working, right? So I want to be sure that we're working it for as many people as we can. So fingers 2 and 3, 1 E and a, same exercise, and both E and yeah, okay. I'm gauging this by there was no feedback that we're indeed approved to proceed forward. We can now appropriate more time to this, to moving forward. And once we decide, once we determine that we move forward, we don't, you know, some of us look back to survey what was previous, which is what we're going to do a year from, you know, the first drop of this first morning ritual for guitar growth live stream. We're going to compare that first video with the last video of the year, and we're going to study, we're going to closely examine progress, or what kind of benefits did we achieve? Where is our playing? Where are we finding ourselves? Are we guitar heroes yet at that point? Fingers 1 and 2. Yesterday, I don't recall where it was. Fingers 1 and 2. 1 E and a 2 E and a, you know what to do. And somebody yesterday said, what if Dave Mustaine invited you to be a member of Metallica? No. Megadeth. Would you do it? And I thought, gee whiz. So I got an electric guitar out later last night. I spent the last part of my evening working on electric guitar, which I haven't done for some time. I mean, you know, I work on maintaining, but I haven't actually worked on moving myself forward, advancing my position, my current station in the guitar world on the electric guitar for a period of time, you know, so it was right. I just wanted to reconnoiter it. It is when we start working on electric guitar together next week. If you're joining me with acoustic guitar right now, if you're coming with electric guitar next week, it's an entirely different beast, right? It's an entirely different set of strings. I mean, they're all tuned the same, hopefully. It's all E standard, you know, but the tensions are different. The picking, all of the technical processes are a little bit different, right? And it takes a little bit of time to hook onto, and I quickly realized like how much I am responsible for generating my own tone. So it's, you know, it's a bit like trimming the lawn, right? And keeping the lawn in good shape for your neighbors. So here we go, and your house painted or whatever. So fingers 3 and 4 and 1 E. We're doing the stretch now. Positions, well, it's not really position. I think we'd call it position number 8 with a finger, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4 with a 4th finger stretch. So we're just using the upper end of that position, starting with finger 3 on fret 10 and doing the same thing that we did just a moment ago, but now we're introducing a 1 fret stretch between fingers 3 and 4. And if you've been here, you know exactly what you're doing, and I appreciate your patience while I explain it again, just to outline the process. 1 E and a 2 E and a, here we go. So I was giving it a bit of a think. What if I were asked to be in Megadeth, you know? I mean, not that there's a place, but I think any one of us could at any time be theoretically asked to join a project, you know, a dream project. Or we could start a dream project anytime. And what is it that the guitar throughout history, beginning with antiquity and likely beyond, before the, you know, stringed instruments serve as fingers 2 and 3, 1 E and a 2, same stretch and go. And these both serve as vessels or instruments or vehicles for personal development and societal change. This instrument that we're playing here, like some of us take this thing very seriously, you know, like we're a Formula One driver or you know, a Marine Recon sniper, you know, or we're throwing a three-pointer for the Celtics. You know, I mean, some of us really want to dial this thing in, and that's exactly what I'm doing here for myself in the mornings. And that particular exercise is a challenge for me with fingers 2 and 3 still. 1 E and 2 E and fingers 1 and 2, same thing. Nice and even, good quality tone, keeping the fret hand under control and keeping movement to a minimum. And when we keep movements to a minimum, we can, when we reach our speed barriers, this is where we come back to improve the speed, to lift those barriers to our access to additional speed or additional technical prowess. That's right. So the slow is fast in the long run. And there's, you know, I've found no substitute for it. I mean, you can learn how to play quickly. You can learn how to play fast. But fast, to me, for the sake of fast, is, you know, sort of, I fail to see the point. You know, if it's, but some of us want to develop speed so badly that we forsake all of the meaningful tonal experiences that we might collect along the way. But if that's your game, you want to get up the wall, and you don't want to use as many pitons as the next climber. That's up to you. You know, it's a little bit about mitigating risk. Nice guitar, Edwin. Mr. Gilbert, thank you very kindly for the compliment. I wish I could say I built it. I didn't build it. It's a Martin DX2E, and I did a review on it right here in my Jason Carey Guitar on my YouTube channel. And so if you searched for the reviews, there are a few shorts I think that were made, and one like really full-length video. You could check it out. If you do go see it, if you wouldn't mind leaving a comment to let me know what you thought about the about that. I built the door. Ian, good question. My son built the door, and he was probably 8, maybe 18, maybe 20, maybe. But we have an old post and beam barn with all kinds of old lumber in it, and we just love the old school stuff, you know. But this dog room, I think we're getting ready to rip apart and turn it into our walk-in pantry where we have counter space and that kind of stuff. So. John Mayer's Neon. Oh yeah, all right. Thank you for asking about the door. Did you? All right, so let's take a look. All right, so where were we at? All right, so pardon me. Sometimes I get distracted, but we're really here to accomplish one thing, and that's our morning ritual warm-up. Because we do this for an hour a day. You multiply that 5 times a week to, over the span of a year, we've got, we've got a lot of hours, so it's about like 250, 260 or 70 hours, right? And that's a lot of gain, I think, for some of us. That's 270 hours, more than most people play the guitar, right? So let's take a look. Fingers 2, 3, and 4. 1 E and a 2 E and a, here we go, E and a. Oh, yeah, he pays attention to detail. He's been building houses with us in a previous lifetime. We built neighborhoods or whatever. I don't know. We probably built a few houses or whatever. And he was always there with the apron and on and the hammer. He was little Bob the Builder. He built the accent wall here out of a pallet when he used to live with us. Now he's off and, you know, building his own life and house and stuff like that. But yeah, craftsmanship exists, and it's always existed, and it just takes the artisan to kind of like develop that talent and develop that awareness and share that awareness. You know, quilt makers, I'm not a quilt maker, but I sure, you know, I love just staring in awe at that skill. You know, I'm not really an apple pie maker, but I sure do love those who can make a good apple pie. So let's take a look at fingers 1 and 2 and 3. We're quickly getting through our warm-up at 4 beats, 4 attacks per beat. This is quite a bit quicker than the beginning of the week. So let's take a look at fingers 1, 2, and 3 on frets 10, 11, and 12, and here we go. 1 E and a 2 E and a 1, 2. Raul, hey. I'll make sure, Ian, that I relay that appreciation to my son, our son. Guitar for everyone. Good morning. Oh yeah, come visit us again, Ian, because if you're into finished carpentry and you play guitar, this is definitely for you. This is definitely for people like us who are highly attentive to detail, you know. You know, we like to put a little bit of a bevel on the cherry rail or whatever, you know, on the cherry drink cup rail. But if you wouldn't mind, come and join us again. We'd love to see you around. Bring a guitar if you can. I know you're up and at 'em early and you don't sit around and drink coffee because, you know, banging a hammer doesn't bang in itself. But thank you for stopping in, and after these videos happen live, then we repost them, and if you wanted to go back and check them out, I leave the live chat intact so that if you wanted to, it'll feel like a live experience. And if you need to get your warm-up in another time, you're more than welcome to do that. So thank you for jumping on board here today. Brooks McDonald, I thought you might have been Brian McDowell, so he's a really wonderful bluegrass guitar picker. I was talking to him about playing John Coltrane changes over some bluegrass, and now, you know, he's all over it, and he tours with some pretty nice bands. So fingers 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Let's do it. Position number 9. Position number 9. Nuevo. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to ascend 4 attacks per beat. 1 and a 2 and a here we go. Do yourself a favor, Ian, and grab yourself a guitar, man. We'll get you started. It'll put you in touch with a lot of great things, a lot of great people. Like, for example, I've been working on a project with a friend of mine from, well, you might have heard me refer to Scott K. Fish. So I've been working on this interview with an old Carlos Santana drummer, Shreve. And man, what he talks about this being, you know, he talks about this being in a trance. Like, once you do the repetitive thing enough, modern drummers can tend to overplay in what he says, and instead of using the repetitive thing, they play too many things. And He says, Sharif says, it's a connection with a continuum that you do not want to break. The drummer's job rhythmically is to keep that maintain that focus, that trance. So all of the other things around him or her, around the drummer, can be percussionist, can become alive with musical experience. And these are people who are, you know, you talk to them off the street and it's like, wow, it's a little bit, it's out there, bro. But I mean, and then he, you know, and he's playing with Santana, so I don't know, you know, maybe there's something to it. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. Was great. Let's go ahead and do the same thing, but with the fourth finger stretch this time. 1 E and a 2 E and a, you know what to do. E and a. Atomic God. Yo! What are your thoughts on Jerry Garcia's playing? Well, my thoughts. Don't get me started. Anthony's like, don't get me started on Jerry. Yeah, I remember being downtown in one of the teaching programs I started in the capital city, and I remember I had it when Jerry passed. I had avoided going to see him because I for some reason wasn't all that interested at the time. And a colleague, you know, sort of an old mentor, guitar teacher friend of mine, he said, you gotta see Jerry, you gotta see Jerry, you gotta go. It's like an adult carnival, and the B.B. Kings, the Jerry Garcias of the world, you gotta go see them because they're not gonna be here forever, dude. And so he finally, you know, it finally clicked, and I decided to go see Jerry Garcia. And then before I got a chance to get to the concert, he passed away. So I have to admit, I never actually got a chance to see him in person, which is you know, it is what it is. But that same week, I had guitar students and guitar friends come into my office, like grown men, cry because of his passing, you know. So I think it was a pretty big deal. Yeah, I think his playing was a big deal for many, right? 1 E and a 2 E. Let's do the same thing, position 9, but this time we'll kick it with a first finger stretch. We'll put a kicker out there. Ready? 1 E and a 2 E and a, you know what to do, E and a. I think a lot of that tone comes from not feeling like we need to reach full dynamic range every single stroke. I think every single stroke is supremely important. You can see how my fingers are peeling a little bit higher than they should be. If I wanted to get faster than 160 beats per minute on my metronome and play this exercise at 4 tacks per beat, I would have to go back and break this down and be sure that I can get my all up. So let's start in position 2 again. 1 E and a 2 E and a T E and a send. I'd have to go back and study this carefully, slowly, so I can fully control each finger, so that they're peeling out. They're peeling like way out here, right? You can see them coming way out. And I don't want that. That's going to stop me from increasing. That's going to be a barrier to me accessing faster speeds and more accurate speeds. And I'm also studying the way the pick is kind of suturing itself, sewing its way through the string set, or am I keeping that index and thumb rigid, and am I transferring that motion to my forearm? So there are a lot of mechanical things that need sort of attention on my behalf before I can really start doing anything that I deem as, you know, I mean, meaningful and, you know, fast on the guitar. Hey, Healthy Family Forest, awesome. Awesome channel. Very cool messaging, yeah, I love it. And welcome back. So we have, oh yeah, we've got the solo and they love each other. Yeah, Cornell, wow, jeez, I guess so. I'm kind of getting obsessed with Jerry's improv. Yeah, good idea. Haha, me too. I jam all over Althea. I did do a full breakdown of Althea on my channel here. Not recently, you know, it's a more recent video, I think. But I like to take those kinds of songs and open them up as vehicles for exploration. So there's a full set, I think, of tools in that video that you could, you know, hook onto if you wanted to. Althea at minute 33 seconds from the Grateful Dead. JFK Stadium. Oh, so you're giving us some benchmarks to reference here. Those are great to see. Thank you, Mr. Warner. Good morning again. In my opinion, the best version from Althea. I guess I should be stretching if I'm looking at comments. I'm sorry to do that. Why don't we go ahead and do this, and we'll go ahead and make use of this time instead of funky things going on. You know what's going on is I ate breakfast this morning before the morning ritual, so you can see, like, behaviorally what digestion can do to the for my focal pattern anyway. And this is why people like friends like David Sanchez, you know, they don't eat before practice, before performance, you know, an hour before. So we don't want to be engaged in digestion while we're trying to focus on the other thing. So I wanted to try it. I tried it a few weeks ago, eating before, and it did the same thing to me, I think. So I'm going to go back to and maintain the fast, the morning ritual fast, for the remainder of 2025. For whatever it's worth to you, I'm just making these critical observations for myself, and I just happen to be sharing them with you because you're here. I'm using 15 clicks on the up and down on each arm because I don't want to walk around sort of like this. I already do that to a certain degree. I don't want to help it out. So let's go ahead, and now that we're stretched, we're in pretty good shape. We're in really good shape, I think, to proceed. Now, we've got one more effort before we get into the new thing. So Guitar for Everyone, in my opinion, best version from Althea. Good. I'll check it out, and I recommend that. There's so many wonderfully talented guitarists who also share their time with us here in the live chat, and if you can, check out each other's channels, and then things happen. Things just happen. So I would recommend just supporting one another to the best of our abilities without sustaining injury to ourselves, of course. But then some of these guitar players, like, are seasoned players, and they're writing songs, they're playing every day, they're doing the thing, and really here to gain as well. So that live chat is that's a blessing in disguise. I think we're going to grow to find that that's where the rubber meets the road here in this live stream. And I'm 44 years old. This is Guitar for Everyone. I'm just now realizing what an incredible improviser Jerry was. There's a lot going on in his playing. Very eloquent stuff. Yeah, sophistication is everywhere. Yeah. We stretching today? Good. Yeah, I see that now. Thank you. Kevin, I appreciate that. You're going to keep us on time and in tune. Man, I appreciate that. That's a helper. That's a helper kind of personality there, and that's a builder. I'll do an Althea cover eventually. Oh, Tortorello. Yeah, do it. Never too late guitar for everyone. Digestion is distracting. Yep, that's proof in the pudding right there. Well, it's actually applesauce and peanut butter toast on homemade bread, but pudding's close enough. You get the point. So let's go ahead and take a look at the old 1, 2, 3, 4, the diagonal patterns. If you were here before, you know what's happening. It's a diagonal pattern, 1, 2, 3, 4, frets 9, 10, 11, and 12. And then we do 1, 2, 3, 4 on the descend pattern. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4 up, 1, 2, 3, 4 down. Shift position, descend 1 fret. 4, 3, 2, 1 up, 4, 3, 2, 1 down. Let's put the metronome on 2, 4, a 1, 2. Oh, that's got to be on. No, that'll double time our speed. So let's just do 1 E and a 2 E and a. You know what to do. And I found it fascinating in this Shreve interview that the drummer from Santana's band, that he talked about like how easy it is to overplay. And I've been working on cleaning up the audio for this interview, and what a privilege, what a blessing it is to have a friend like Scott in my life, in our lives, because all of his material, like, he's talked with all of, like, you know, he interviewed, like, I don't know, who's the drummer from the Beatles, you know? Barry Keane, you know, from the Gordon Lightfoot band. Friends, like lifelong friends. Mr. Neil Peart from Rush, lifelong friends of. And so there's all this discussion about how they go through life and practice a craft, and how Mr. Peart was, like, you know, lived his life by a timer. You know, he had this 15 minutes allocated for that thing, and then once that's done, he moved on. You know, that was it. And there's a great resource, like, if you're interested in hearing anything about, like, how, like, the pros, you know, the people that hold the fort down, those of us who hold the fort down with a rhythmic application, maintain the spirit of the band, if you will, you might enjoy the depth of the conversations at Scott K. Fish right here on YouTube. There's no mistaking who he is, you know. Just a treasure trove of goodness. So we're through this exercise. Let's do this exercise one more time with a sweep technique. And what I'll do is I'll give you a little bit more of the picking hand, so that we can, let me turn it around here a little bit, because we're getting ready to do some really, you know, deep work here, and this will help us. I don't think it's going to be too much of an issue. I just wanted to model this for you one time. And that way I can share with you the joy of sweep picking. You know, and then you can turn into Yngwie Tortorello, you know. But it's all there for us, you know, it's all there. We just have to put in the seat time, really, right? So I need to change my posture a little bit. So let me just turn my chair. I'm going to sustain workplace injury if I don't start moving this around a little bit. Okay. Before we jump in, let's go ahead and give it five notes, 5 attacks per beat. And I appreciate any likes that you can give the video. If we can get up to like, 40 likes would be good. I know it's a lofty goal, but those of us who fail in business we're not thinking big enough. Okay, let's take a look at 1 2 1 2 1. No, that'd be 7. So let's do 1 2 1 2 1. 1 2 da 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 da. Torty slow hand. Freddie Mercury, Mike, what's going on? Do I ever feel awkward holding the guitar? I feel awkward all the time, man. What are you talking about? I don't need to be holding a guitar to feel awkward. Jeez, take a look at me. Take one look at me, dude. Awkward, holding a guitar to feel awkward is not a thing I need to do, But I do, no, in all seriousness, that self-deprecating thing, I think it's, it can be kind of funny, but I also think it's like it could be a root of a deeper problem, an ongoing problem. So it's funny, and I say things in passing, but I really don't feel like that. I really feel like building up the self is super important, and and having the capacity to just recognize that, the importance of that, for me is huge in life. It's and to keep coming back to it, starting with the smile, getting out of the first thing I do before I even get out of bed is I put a smile on my face, and that smile literally releases all of that stuff that I need in my body to say, oh yeah, that's right, I've got this day, I've got it, I'm going to do this, I am going to succeed, I am going to win. I might lose a few battles, but I'm going to win the war. All of this stuff is just so important to just internalize. And so I do like to practice without a strap, but I also do practice with the strap. It's important to me, like wherever my posture is while I practice, it's exactly the same when I stand up. If I'm sitting practicing that geometry, I don't want to have to relearn how to play the guitar when I stand up. So that's a really good question. So if I feel awkward or I look awkward, it might have something to do with camera angle. It might have something to do with me wanting to prioritizing positioning the guitar so that for your viewing ability. I literally just changed guitars because the other one felt awkward today. Yeah. I'm slow. So torty shorthand. So I change legs all the time because of shoulder pain. Yeah, you got to do the things. It's called workplace injury, right? And how many professional guitar players have insurance to cover workplace injury, do you think? That's a good question. Take a look at that data. And Muick Sniper. I've been playing an hour a day at my work desk. Want to stay consistent. Yeah, you're in the right place. I mean, I would encourage you, definitely enjoy your company and come back. And sorry, Sniper. Okay, I break it up into sessions, but I'm trying. That's a great thing to do. Yeah, we're doing the session stretch, session work stretch every 15 minutes. We're trying to get to that pattern. So let's introduce something new. All right, raise your hand if you know the G major scale. I'll wait, don't worry, I'll wait. Or press the like button if you know the G major scale. Let's press the like button if you know the G major scale in open position. Okay. I thought I'd see it. Oh, someone unliked the button. I guess that's kind of funny. That's funny that you did that right while I was watching. That's good stuff. And G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp. Oh, there you go. All right, so we even got a comment out of it. So let's take a look at open position. So G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, which is exactly what Mr. McWenna said. Raul McWenna interjected here. So he says G, A, open A, B, fret 2, C, D, E, F sharp, and then open G. and then we'll go and continue to ascend the next octave, which is open G, fret 2, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and then G, or G sharp, or G wicked chap. So here's the G chord, or G major, right? So now what we can do, because we have a beautiful G string, you know, arguably my favorite string. So we have the open G string, fret 2 on the G string, A, B, 4, C, 5, D, 7, E, 9, F sharps, 11, and then 12 is, you know, G. All right, so we have G, we ascended it, now we descend it. G, F, E, D, C, B, A, G. Yeah, good. I figured that that was the case. There were a lot of guitar players, Guitar for Everyone, on this channel, like, who are totally capable of responding to that. And it's none of these things. It's not at all like we're reinventing the wheel, right? Because the wheel's already been invented. And chances are anything that we think of, someone's already studied it to the nth degree. You know, it's just the way humanity works. And you know, sometimes I'm at the front of the line, sometimes I'm a little late to the game, but the guitar is supremely important. I favor the shape of the dreadnought, the D. I did a YouTube community post on my community post page that, you know, how I prefer the shape. And I haven't really, I've built other guitars, like, you know, one of these days I'll share with you some of the guitars I've built. But I've shared, you know, I do like cutaways, but I prefer the 10, like just the D shape, or the dreadnought class style guitar for some reason. And it is big to get around the arm. And sometimes what I'll do, as you see Mr. Del McCory, we've got 10 minutes left after this next 33-minute interval. So we've got to wrap it at 60 because we're staying. Your time is so valuable. I want to keep us all on time. But you can see Mr. Del is, you know, keeps his arm down here, you know, I'm down that long, lonesome highway, far as I can go, down, 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 and then he gives you that little break where he can do his eyebrows. He's got white hair and really dark, big, bushy eyebrows. And so he takes full advantage of all of those things in his stage antics. It's part of his charisma. Do you know what I mean? But so you can work around the guitar. You can work with the guitar. You can hold the guitar, cradle the guitar differently for different tones or different recording situations. But changing, like Mr. Raoul McWenna says, you know, changing the lap of the guitar and the angle of the guitar, and also changing these things, right? If I'm playing like this over I'm playing with I'm a right-handed guitar player, and I'm playing over my knee. My knee is roughly parallel, this bone up here, the big bone, is roughly parallel with the ground if the chair's cut to height, right? Or if I use a footstool. But the guitar is now elevated, and the guitar angle, the neck angle, is up, and now I can maintain this right angle in my elbow, right? That's super important to keep that all straight from here, right through the wrist, right through to the, what are these, the tarsal, no, carpals or whatever, I forget, and then to the phalanges, and so this is really where we start to bend. You know, any bends that we do over the carpals or whatever they are, the wrist bones, you know, the tendons dragging around over those, that will also lead, you know, we run the risk that leads to workplace injuries. So posture on the guitar is supremely important. I think straight angles wherever I can and 45s and 90s. And so you can see this is pretty close to 45, and this is kind of like ergonomically positioned now. Whereas before, I worked on, I play a lot like this too, because the reach is good, but you can see my arm is extended a little bit here, right? You know, I've just got to give and take, and I can feel it in my elbow. All of those little things that we take for granted can lead us to, you know, lead us to a place where we're not expecting, right? So let's take a look at what that G, I was making reference to the G major scale. So if we start with the G major scale on the high E string, we have G, or E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E. F sharp, G. And this is going to lead us nicely into our acoustic or electric sessions next week. Open B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp. So what I would recommend doing is finding those notes of the G major scale on every single string linearly and at one at a time. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. Finding that on every string, and then what we do is, I'm going to bypass the quintuplets for today. We'll start tomorrow with those, okay? We're going to start with two string groups. They're contiguous strings, they're side by each, and we're using 3 notes per string, 3 notes per string. This is important because if we use 3 notes per string, we can create a symmetrical pattern, which we then can plane up through each position of the G major scale on the B and high E strings. So we've got that fret, so we've got D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, and then I've determined that I'm going to use, unless I've got to stretch back for finger 1, I'm going to use basically fingers for these stretches here. I'm going to use 1, 3, and 4. So the next position is going to look like fret 3 on the B, fret 5 on the B, fret 7 on the B, fret 3, 5, 7. So the first position was stretch finger 1, 1, 2, 4, and then 1, 2, 4, fret 1. And then the second position is, the next position is E, F sharp, G, A, B, C. So it's 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4. And then we started F sharp, G, A, B, C, D. And then we move on up to 1, which is G, A, B, C, D, E. And then we're moving on up to A, B, C, D, E, F sharp with a 4th finger stretch on that high E string. Then we move on up to the B, C, D, E, F sharp, and G. Oh. So what we're trying to do is get these little these positions where we can slide into and out of over each string grouping. So we'd have 2 string groups at a time, 2 strings at a time, starting with high E and B. So that's string group number 1. The next group down would be G and B. Next group, that's string group 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is sort of a George Van Epp style of playing, right? Where we're just kind of clustering string groups together. So I have string group 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 on the bottom 2 strings. I always feel a sense of awkwardness. Yeah, okay, I started backtrack there. Thunderbird, yeah, what's going on? What was that song? Uh-oh, I think I missed it. Jason, you make a great point about how practicing the guitar is a great way to bring awareness to deep-rooted mental health issues, low self-esteem, self-deprecation. Well, one of the things that the guitar is a tool, right? So the guitar has been used individually and through societal great uses through in times of disunity. Governments will roll out songs to provide, everyone knows that music is a great unifier. So if you need to create times of unification, then, the guitar it's a low barrier for entry. It's relatively inexpensive to purchase and get going. And it's easy, it's portable, and it's super, if you're Joni Mitchell, if you're Jimi Hendrix or you're Kurt Cobain, you're changing the world with your guitar. It's happening. It's literally happening, and there's a lot of upward mobility, and it gives a voice to those who are often unheard, and it raises those voices. It elevates those voices, and I think if ever there was a time to write material about anything, Mr. Cobain was writing it firsthand. Lane Staley was writing it firsthand. Chris Cornell was writing the stuff firsthand about, my troubles with this and that. If ever there was a thing to write about now, it would be about how we don't want to miss out on those cries for help, how we want to identify the cries for help, and how can we help those of us who don't want to be helped. So those are some real serious things to consider, and that's part of what parcel of what why I love music so much is because it's such an interdisciplinary approach to so many different things. It gives you access to so many different things, right? If you play the guitar, good guy. You stand there in a jean and leather jacket with no guitar, I don't know, maybe you're not such a good guy. But you put a guitar in the hands and it's like, oh yeah, super approachable guy, super approachable gal. So it does something. School psychologists know this. So a few friends of mine who are school psychologists play the guitar. So it lowers the barrier for entry for the kids who really, could use the extra support, man. That's what it's all about. It's one of the things that it's all about. And so I appreciate you talking about it. Those things are important to talk about. They're super important to talk about and destigmatize. And we're currently doing some work in those areas with a song called, we wrote a song a few months ago when there was a mass shooting in Lewiston, Maine, and it was about this fellow, Robert Card. We try to put ourselves in his position. And, so you might like the song Private Person. You could find it right here on YouTube, Jason J. Carey, Private Person, and Scott K. Fish. And we've been involved and engaged in this musical sort of like collaboration, and you might like it. It's a cool song. It's all over the place, but it's not really gotten the attention yet that it could. But I think if you hear it, and you do take the chance to listen to it, I'd love to hear some feedback on it. So what we're going to do is just wrap it here. I just want to be sure that we're studying only the G major scale. Our mission today, if you want to continue along and get even further, poke further through the string set, I'm only asking for the top 2 strings. Just to become aware, really dial in your fingerings. Consider which fingerings you're using. Fingers 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 4, and then 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1. And this was starting at about 50 minutes. If you go back and watch the live stream when it reposts, this section begins at about 50 minutes, okay? So we're using 1, 2, stretch 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, falls in, finger 1 falls in, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, with this time no stretch, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, and then 1, 2, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, and then 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, stretch 4, and then 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4. Once you get familiar with each pattern, I want you to try ascending the shape and then sliding down to the beginning of the next shape. And that will help to really expand our awareness of the fretboard. I think at least starting with the top 2 strings, that's a wonderful place to be. And great exercise. Yeah, I agreed, Mr. Tortorello. Absolutely agreed. I'm here with you on that one. Austin, I play electric guitar. It's fun. I embrace that sentiment. Yeah, we all absolutely love volume too. Like volume is a really important thing. Let the amp do the work, man. Have you played ukulele? Yes, I love Jake Shimabukuro. Who's the? There's a prodigy out there. I'm not one of those, but have you seen the Fluke? There's a thing called the Fluke, which is a ukulele with a flat bottom. You can just stand it on your end table. Really cool stuff. A friend designed that. And then turn that metronome off. Song laughs. Yeah, I'd love to turn the metronome off, but unfortunately, you've arrived at a place where the metronome is going to be on every time you come here. So every morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're starting at 7:30 a.m. every weekday morning, and we're going through a guitar ritual, a morning guitar ritual, warm-ups for guitar growth. We are evolving every day, but one thing is not changing. For the rest of 2025, it's a free live stream, so join if you like, and if you, it's free, and it's always going to be at 60 beats per minute, so we can calculate and then quantize, and then begin to internalize our gains and our approach to the guitar, okay? So I'm sorry if it's gonna bother you, but this live stream is not for everyone. It's definitely not for everyone. If you want to improve the self, if you want to improve your guitar skills, you want to improve your family, your life, you want to serve the God above, if you want to do all of that stuff, this is a great place to be. Do I expect to please everyone? I don't. I'm here specifically for myself and for those others that I can help along this path and just be there for. And people are there for me at the same time, and it's just this really cool. I don't want to pretend that this is something that it's not, and I don't want to squander your time, so we're going to continue to keep things right on track because I know your time is super valuable. And Kevin, have a great day. Good. Thank you very much. And there's our note. Hat tip to Kevin Haas, because this is the end. We've reached the end. We're 3 minutes over our live stream experience this morning. I knew Kurt. You knew Kurt? Really? Message me, and then message me if you want to. I'd like to chat about that, Jacob. And then Jeff Stratton, nice guitar. Thank you. I did a review of this on my channel. You can go find it, Martin DX2E. Let me know if you do watch the video. I'd love to hear what you think. Can you redo it, because I just came here and I'm very interested in, okay. The video, YOLO, Chad, the video is going to repost, so I recommend just go back and check it out at 50 minutes, and that's where that episode begins. I highly recommend you do that, because it's only going to further your guitar skills. And come back tomorrow at same bat time, same bat channel. We'll be back here again. How long have you been playing, Jason? I've been playing for a while. Have a great day, everybody. See you Friday. What's Wednesday? We won't see you tomorrow, Kevin. I hope you have a wonderful day. And where are you located? I'm American. I'm located in the Estados Unidos. Los Estados Unidos. I'm really interested in learning guitar. Could you give me some tips and thoughts? I am also there for you. Come back tomorrow at 7:30, and this is definitely the right place for some of us. Again, I'm not going to pretend that it's for everybody, but it's definitely the right place for some. Okay, and just stick around. I think you'll enjoy it. I think you'll really have a good time, and it's free. Just cost your seat time. Okay, and I'm very thankful for that. And I'll see you again tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard. And until that time, I wish you happy picking. Go get it.